right. Welcome, everyone, to Just for Friends Trying to Figure Out HR podcast. And today's spicy topic is about what is a team player? Now, if you've been in HR at any point in time, you know that there's that person who says, I am a team player. But then behind that is a narcissist or someone who is not really a real team player. I'm
Dr. Green is
dreaming it up, y'all.
real passionate about our topic tonight. Lots of passion.
Yes. So, the exciting story is of Becky, because we love Becky. Becky's always given us good topics and good stories. So, Becky, we thank you. We love you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Becky, bitch.
So,
hey, you said spicy. I got you say
cool
spicy.
Spicy's great.
I mean, be careful.
So, I thought about what Jason would normally tell me, because he always tells me all these crazy stories about what happens to him. So I try to put a little title into it. So I call it Becky the Backstabber. And we all love master classes. So I called it Becky the Backstabber, a masterclass in corporate narcissism. Ooh.
Okay.
Good stuff, right? Yeah. So, Becky, on paper, team player, right? But in reality, full-blown narcissist, wrapped in a ugly sweater and buzzwords. Because, there's always that one Becky who just has all those buzzwords.
Mm-hmm.
And they never wear the right outfit. They look like they just rolled out of bed. Anyways, Becky was the person that we would always hear, we did this together, and then is over there in the back stapling her name on the paper. You ever met anybody like that who's like, you did all the work, but coming back and they're putting their name all over it and presenting
That's why I hate
it?
team projects. That's why I hate
Exactly.
Team projects.
Becky's that one who is like the fake leader that takes that work and goes, so here's what I did, and the team did this, and boom, 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 boom. Presenting it as if it's her own work. And everybody's in the back going, yo, this was a team effort. So at one point, Becky had the audacity to schedule collab sessions. I call them collaboration sessions, whatever you want to call them.
Collabs.
She
the two people on a Bunsen burner. That's collabs.
very medical, on a medical background.
There we go.
What is Dr. Green? So when he says collabs,
right.
I'm like, not collaboration. Okay, got it.
I need a CBC and a CMP and a coag panel case. So, but the whole problem is that Becky talked for 58 out of the 60 minutes and then says, great work, team. And we're all like, ma'am, hold up. The only thing you contributed to was the trauma of this conversation and a new reason for me to have a margarita on Tuesdays. Okay. But the real part that got me was Becky didn't do the work. She performed it. So for me, you're performing it and not actually doing the work. So you're up there presenting, but somebody else did all the work. So every meeting, this one-woman Broadway show titled, Look at Me, I Care, with a standing ovation from, you want to guess who it was from? Herself. She used phrases like, I just want to amplify others, and write hitting mute on your mic, figuratively and literally. So she likes to go over there while you're in the middle of talking, but she wants to talk, mute you so that she can go ahead and continue. You ever met anybody like that? I have. So if you ever need help, nope, Becky's swamped. You need any praises? She's there to suspiciously be available. Yep. She's sprinkled chaos like seasoning, and then she steps back like a true narcissist and watches it burn, only to rise from the ashes and say, yeah, I actually saw this coming. Must be a leader's intuition. So, with all of that, you couple into a couple of other scenarios, but she volunteered to own a deliverable. If you don't know what a deliverable is, then look it up. A deliverable, and then ghosted everyone for 3 days. And then once it was done, she went and slapped her own touch of Petty Betty Becky on it 5 minutes before the deadline so that she could say that she was there. And then someone finally calls her out, and guess what she does? Gaslights the whole team. No, I was there. I didn't do that. No, I think there's a misunderstanding about what collaboration looks like, ma'am, because that is not collaboration. But
Damn Becky.
damn Becky. But Karma, she showed up in an HR approved slacks. Performance reviews were hitting left and right, and everyone dropped receipts like a group chat after a breakup. Becky got the kind of feedback that made even Slack freeze. So last we heard, Becky's not at the company anymore, but she's still smiling, name dropping and giving that synergy like a servant leader. But now,
Servant leader. I hate that. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. It's exactly what it was meant for. But that is our Becky, our story of Becky. You've had that leader. You've known that leader. Tell me that y'all have had that person or leader that has just been like slides in at the last second or slides in and does barely anything and puts their name on it.
Yeah. That's always with presentations for me. I put together a nice presentation. I do the whole, I get in front of everybody. I sell this thing, and then some jackass steps in and is like the head of the department. Our team has been working diligently on all of these deliverables. I'm like, bitch, you saw I just did all this work. You just sat there. In fact, what I like is when they ask questions about what was presented or ask questions about the project and they don't know shit about it. So I act stupid. I'd be like, I'll have to defer to Becky as the lead. I think Becky took shouldered the load of this project. So Becky, if you want to tell them how we came up with those facts and figures for the third quarter.
Yeah.
And then when Becky looks like she's about to drown, I don't save her ass. I go, oh, it's just the numbers are escaping me. But again, maybe you want to follow up with the email later.
It's like, that's a great question. Becky, what are your thoughts on that? My favorite are the ones that they take the assignment, they volunteer for it, and then they issue out all the work to the team, and then they tell everyone to send them back their finished product so they can simply just take your slides and put it into one presentation. And that was their contribution. They put all the slides they didn't edit the slides. They didn't put it, they just simply copied your slide and pasted it inside one united PowerPoint. And that was their contribution. And it was like, you did absolutely nothing. And they're like, but I put it all together. No, you didn't. You didn't do any more than my cell phone couldn't have done.
Sorry, Becky, you've been replaced.
But I think the part that we're highlighting here is the word team player, because while this may not apply to all leaders, there are the leaders that do that, and they look at it as delegation when in reality they're trying to gaslight what being a team player truly means, because that word gets abused so much that I think the true meaning of it and the true characteristics, the facets that people should be living by of being a true team player, I don't think anyone even understands what it means. I don't think anyone lives it. I think they do their best to what they believe. And like everything else in life, they heard it from someone or they read it online, and that's their truth.
Well, what is
You know
a team
what?
player? What is the definition of a team player?
You know
So-
what? Let's Google it.
Actually, before we give out, don't Google it yet. Don't. Hold on, pause. Don't. I want everyone to give their own opinion of what they think a team player is. And then we'll read the true definition. We'll start with Mama Mel. You asked it, you answer.
Yeah, well, I think a team player they're a well-rounded individual who probably contributes in a very positive way to the greater good of your team or your team's success.
Okay. Llama.
Well, a team player for me gives credit where credit is due in terms of, you know, if something is not my idea, right? Again, this is the way I look at it. If it's not my idea, wasn't my concept, wasn't my work, then you say, hey, this, you know, I heard from so and so, or Mama Mel had this great idea about this. Or if like the presentation wraps up, right? And let's just say I'm the presenter, it's recognizing the contributions of the folks that grab the data, that put the things together versus thank you, I'm the greatest, right? Again, the team player does that. Obviously contributes to everybody's success, but for me, it's giving the credit where credit is due. That's what I feel a team player is.
Dr. Green, give us that PhD response.
Shit.
My idea of what a team work is someone who sees the goal and wants the team to be successful at that goal over their own priorities, their own goals. They basically put themselves behind so that the team can be shown in the light, be successful. A real team player doesn't have to be in the light. Team player can be in the back and still be noticed without having to take the light. That's what I think of team players.
I think you all touched on what a true team player is, but I think a true team player gives as much as they take, is honest about their contribution as well as others, and is respectful and authoritative in a professional manner as much as needed in the role that they play on that team, because every team has a leader, a project leader, and they have individuals that are working on a team. So depending on what role you sit in is whether or not you need to be more submissive or more authoritative, but there needs to be the same concepts coming from both sides. The question is who's really going to own the timeline and the finished product. So give us the Google definition or Chat GPT's response. What do they say a true team player is?
From Dr. Chad GPT.
Dr. Chad GPT. Trademark, not official. Please don't sue us, Chat GPT.
Watch, somebody's gonna make it just for that. A team player at the workplace is someone who actively collaborates with their colleagues to achieve shared goals, prioritizing the team's success over personal ambitions. Hey, that's pretty close. Nice.
I will say, like, it depends on the environment. It's tough to be a team player. I mean, because sometimes you have an uber competitive environment like that. It's a cutthroat, you know, the shiny, you know, the shiniest employee who has the most ideas or whatever, and that's what they reward. So sometimes the environment that you're working in fosters some of this backstabbing and, you know, this Becky, you know, taking over the presentation because they're all trying to survive. So I don't think that people intentionally sometimes want to be bad team players. Sometimes it's just survival of the fittest. I mean, I've been in, yeah, I've been in those nasty environments where it's, you know, there's constant cuts or there's constant, you know, sort of, you know, rankings of, you know, what's your workload? How many people do you know, manage, that type of thing. And then it's like, shit. I'm looking out for me. I got a family to feed, and shit, I'll take whatever advantage I can get. So it's not necessarily that I think that people want to be bad team players, but sometimes just you're again, think about this as an HR professional. What does your environment look like? What does the culture of that office look like? And how does that, because that's your challenge. That's your challenge. Because people aren't going to, I won't be as generous with my credit and kudos if I know I got to keep some of that shit to keep myself safe. That's just being honest.
What about, I don't know if y'all remember this moment. That time that Big Llama had submitted something and we all didn't. And so the teamwork at that moment was very minimal.
Here we go.
Because he did it and we didn't. And so it was dog eat dog world at that point. I got to feed my family.
Listen,
I gotta do me, Lucius.
Listen. I had, and hear me clearly. This is the spicy part. Parental advisory, all that good stuff. I had no fucking idea that nobody did that assignment. No clue. In fact, I took a shitty picture and sent it in just to get it off my plate. Just because it was on my little to-do, I just threw it in there. I had no idea that none of you some of my bitches did it or didn't do it. And I didn't know I was going to be called out in a meeting to have that discussion. So, again, if I had known, I would have not sent it in.
But you would have at least gotten kudos, my friend.
Oh, but I think also you were going on vacation, so I think you were like, I just gotta get it out. Like, I had to go and do,
Don't back him up, Mel.
No hard.
I had to do the apology tour. You guys called me out. You were like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. No.
I don't think I did.
No. I'm saying other people were like, oh, like Teams messages. Oh, how come you did it? I'm like, I'm sorry.
You know what?
Sorry.
We don't blame you, Big Llama, because any great leader would look at an assignment and see that if 99% of the team did not even attempt to start it yet, obviously there was poor communication on what the assignment was and the timelines that surrounded that assignment.
Or the due date. The due date was
some expectations, which, once again, we're all supposed to be a team player, but we got gaslighted that day. I'm sorry.
Oh, straight up. Preach it. Say it again. Yeah.
I mean, we got gaslit so much. I'm still high from the fumes.
I'm just not gonna let Big Llama live that down, just because it's just one of the best stories I hear about him, and it comes in often and it comes in swiftly.
So
listen, the best part of that story, right? Because that was the banker's hours thing. The best part of that is I totally was driving home a little bit before the end of the day. So I get these kudos and they talk about banker's hours, and here I am driving on my way home. I'm like,
it's like 3 p.m. He's just driving home, laughing his way to the bank.
No, it wasn't 3 p.m. It was like closer to 4:30-ish.
You can get fired now. Come on, man.
It's 2:15.
It was not.
He went to lunch and never came back.
I was on Teams though. Y'all saw I was there.
He was working remotely. He was a team player.
I was going to say, think about a team player in that aspect. They're the ones that you're like, not you specifically, Big Llama, but
of course,
you know that you always have that one teammate who just somehow just skirts under the radar and never gets in trouble, but they're working late, they're at work late, or they leave early, or it's whatever weird. What's going on the screen there, Big Llama?
No idea.
Okay.
He's shy. He's blushing.
I've embarrassed him at this point, but
to witness protection.
If y'all don't know, he is a blurred, and looks like he's holding up a pack of gum. No, now he's
And
gone.
now we've lost him.
We lost him, y'all. A sad
And
day.
now
That,
we're gonna hear on TV is
I'm here. I'm here.
You know, Dr. Green, I have a great response to you on that. And it kind of goes
go for it.
with everyone, and this isn't necessarily on the team player aspect, but it ties into it because those people that get into HR for the first few years or get out in the workforce for the first few years or gets in management for the first time, they seem to think that if they work the longest, if they work the hardest, if they do the most amount of work, they're going to get recognized. And in reality, while that might be true, in my opinion, in less than 5% of the situations out there in reality, most of the time, it's not the people doing the most work. It's not the ones working the hardest. It's the ones that are doing the right task that are being monitored by leadership or that get the most traction or that have the biggest impact to the organization. So you could work your butt off doing 20 different things while that person over there, your team player, works half a day every day, although the boss doesn't know it, and only works on one project, but gets all this recognition for the amount of work they did on that project. And you murdered yourself. You were working 15 hours a day. So when you think about being a true team player, that's where you have to make sure that you're being vocal as a part of the team, because sometimes people are conscious that they do these things. And then sometimes they truly are unconsciously doing these things because they just might realize subconsciously, hey, this.
Did he freeze?
we lost another one.
Another one bites the dust.
I mean, I'm here, but
No.
either that or he's a really good,
Perfectly timed.
He entered
playing
the
the-
mime stage.
what's that show?
Wipeout?
Squid Games.
Freeze tag?
Squid
Games. Ooh. So I guess I get what from HR is saying in this sense. Yes, there's some people that are unconsciously not doing it. They have all good intentions, but as a wise leader once told me, a pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. And
Well, but like, well, hold on, because have you guys ever heard of work smarter, not
hard.
harder?
No. I wholeheartedly believe in that.
Listen,
I do that
I
myself.
am not killing myself for a company that is going to replace me within 48 hours of something happening to me. So if it takes me 8 hours to get done what you're doing in 13 hours, like, I have to wonder what you're doing. Like, why are you taking so long to complete certain tasks? It should not take you that long. Is it a skill issue? Is it a will issue? Are you just focusing on other things? Like, don't bite me. Don't come in and get on my back because I can work faster than you can. Bye-bye. Toodaloo. Be better. How about that?
There you go.
I think the only thing I completely agree with you, and I agree with you as well, Jake, because you kind of mimed out and pulled a Kenny.
Kenny gave my Big Llama gave me virus on my computer.
Transferring that virus from square to square.
Well, we're on the right side, him and I. So
that's true.
We're having issues tonight.
If you're on the right side, you must be wrong because the left side's killing it. But working smarter versus working harder, I absolutely agree, because I'm like you. I do not want to be at work until 6:00 p.m. Yes, there are some things that happen that come up that you got to fix. They're just snafus or craziness. Mm-hmm. And then there are days where you're like, it's 4:00. I'm going home. My banker's hours is up. And I want to work smarter. And there were multiple times where I would go and find programs out there in the world to see if it would accomplish what my need was. If technology can do it for me for free, I'm going to use it. And if I have to pay like $5 a month and it's going to save me hours and hours worth of time, best believe I'm going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pay it. because my time is valuable, not to do more. My time is valuable to my family. My time is valuable to my 5-year-old and to my wife. And like you said, you made a great point, Mama Mel, which is if I die today, they're going to be posting my job in 48 hours for a replacement.
Absolutely.
My family's going to be planning my death and, everything else. Not planning my death. That was a wrong choice of words. Planning my...
We understood.
Thank you. But planning my funeral, and they'll be worried about all those other things. While the CEO of this organization may drop a tear or two if they know me about, oh gosh, can't believe this person died, send some flowers. But then a week from now, they got KPIs and OKRs and all these other things that they got to meet that are more important than me at the moment because their business is important.
You know what they're thinking, right? And this is sad, but when Dr. Green, bites the big one, right?
Dang.
And he's out. You know what they're thinking in real life? We could probably hire someone a little bit cheaper. We could probably get a generalist. We probably get a staff specialist or something. I mean, I hate that, but that's how they think. It's like if somebody quits, again, we're going to the extreme. If we don't want nothing bad to happen to Dr. Green, but that's what they're thinking. Is like you think that and this is the part where I like what Mama Mel saying: work harder, work smarter, not harder. But honestly, here's the thing, right? Never get self-absorbed and think that you are so important to an organization that they cannot live without you, because then you start hoarding information and you don't share, which is really bad for your team. But honestly, if you leave tomorrow, they're not going to care. They're not going to care unless it's a small mom and pop and it's like 3 of you guys working, right? They're just going to post your position. They're going to go, you know what? We were paying this guy way too much money. Why don't we get a lower level position, probably do the same work? And then that's the sad part, right? It's a sad, when I left certain places, I wanted them to suffer. I wanted them to feel the impact of me not being there. And it didn't seem like they suffered that much. So, there goes my ego boost. But it's
the llama strikes again.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure,
but it's honest.
Your
It's
coworkers
okay.
suffered.
Big Mama, don't worry. One of my previous companies that I left, they suffered. They suffered for you.
Which one? Company number 20 or 30?
Well,
All I'm going to say is there's been a lot of people that sat in my seat since I left.
that's true.
But you know what?
That's actually true.
There's pure joy, and this sounds awful. So anybody who's listening, do understand I am kind of joking. But you're so good at what you do that they can no longer replace you with one person. 2 or 3 have to be replacing you. And that's the part of my pure joy where I go, you shouldn't have messed up, company. You should have done better. You should have treated me better. You should have given me that 10-cent raise and, 11-cent raise. I apologize. I would have. You wouldn't have that now.
But let's make sure we clarify for the audience. We are not telling anyone to give less than 100% every day.
No.
You should give 100% every day at work. But if you're that person that has to give over 100%, Mama Mel hit the nail on the head. You should never give more to a company than what they give to you. And if they give you 150%, you match them. You give them that 150% back.
Yep.
But if they're only giving you 60, 70, 80%, you still give that 100% because that's a value that represents yourself. So you give 100% bare minimum every day.
You get that pizza party.
Yeah, because we all know nobody wants raises or better benefits. We want that pizza party once or twice a quarter.
Exactly.
Go get your Papa John's.
I couldn't afford the Papa John's sauce with my raise.
You could have afforded a packet of ketchup at McDonald's, though.
Maybe they charge for that now. So.
And they're stingy with that. So
I want to pose a question to the team.
What's the question?
I want to go around the room and I want to get everyone's thoughts on what it means to them when they hear in an employee performance evaluation that they're not a team player.
Ooh,
Oof, that's rough.
that hurts.
With absolutely no specifics on their evaluation.
Oh,
It
So
just
how do you
simply
prove it the opposite?
it simply states you need to be a better team player. I love it.
I would probably give the death look, like I'm going to slap you if you ever put that on my evaluation, because nobody's ever met Dr. Green where he was not a team player.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because even when I didn't want to do whatever it was, and I thought it was extremely dumb and that we were going to be wasting hours of time for no apparent reason, I was still a team player. And then now I want you to prove how I wasn't a team player. Because if you're going to say it, you got to prove it.
That's right.
So
yeah, no.
I'll throw in my 2 cents on it. I've never personally had that on my evaluation, but I have participated with managers writing and issuing evaluations, thousands of evaluations. And I've seen that a lot. And the first thing I ask that managers will give me an example. Like, you need to write specifics on their evaluation. And they're like, well, there's a project, but I don't really remember exactly what they did. And the reason why I bring this up is because my advice to the HR professionals, this is why we're so important to be a part of evals, why we should be reading evals before they're issued to the employees, if it's possible. Because when you have managers that put, you're not a team player or you need to be a better team player, I don't have an issue with putting that on evaluation, but there needs to be very specific tasks, specific projects, and what they failed to do and what they could have done better. Whether you want to use the SMART system or another acronym, it needs to be very specific. But we're telling someone, basically, let's use common sense layman terms. You're telling someone they suck at their job. You need to tell them why.
Right.
They're not a team player.
Isn't that what feedback is?
Well,
you have to tell somebody why. Like, you can't. A very long time ago, I got told you can't tell an employee no without telling them why. So my response would have been real similar to Dr. Green's is, first of all, I am a team player. Number one. Number two, I give credit where credit is due, mother sucker.
Boogaboo.
And number three, show me. Prove it to me. Because I disagree with you.
Yeah.
With much love and respect, I disagree with you.
With as much positive intent as possible.
No, prove it to me. You can't just tell me you're not a team player. What didn't I do? Or when they flip it and they're like, well, you're not a team player because you didn't tell the truth in a meeting, or your loyalty was questioned.
That right there, that comment right there specifically burns my biscuits.
I've never heard that expression.
Don't you burn my biscuits, okay? Because you burn my biscuits, we will have some problems.
Grinds my gear.
Grinds my gears. There you go.
I'm gonna say he's close enough to where I grew up. I'll let him have that. He can use it.
Thank you. What chaps my ass cheeks more than anything is saying you're questioning my loyalty. My loyalty, number one, let's be truthful, it's not to you.
It's to my paycheck.
It's to my paycheck that goes to my family. That's my loyalty.
My paycheck and my fiduciary obligation.
There you go.
Say it again. Fiduciary obligation. That's right. But my whole thing is that you're paying me to do a job. Man, and I'm one of those people, I will work more than 100%. I'll give more than 100% because I want not just the recognition, but I want you to realize that I am loyal and that I'm wanting you to be loyal to me as well and say, you know what, Dr. Green, you have been giving it 150% this whole entire year. We decided to open up a position and move you up. Fantastic. That's all I'm asking for. Now, of course, can't get higher than CHRO. Not that I know of, unless they create one in the world somewhere. But when you hit that, at that point, just give me the kudos, because I'm at the highest I can be. I'm proud. I'm excited. But don't ever question my loyalty, because that's dirtier than a cow patty on a farm.
Yeah.
And
Or-
being a team player doesn't mean, or being a team player doesn't equate to not telling or telling the truth. Like, if I don't care if the truth is going to jeopardize your employment, if you're going to be reprimanded for it, you shouldn't have been doing the things that you were doing. But but I'm a person of integrity, and when somebody asks me something, I'm going to speak with honesty. And it's not because I'm an unloyal employee. It's not because I don't love my company and I don't ride for my company. It's because I'm a person of integrity. And one thing I'm not going to do is lie. It's
What does
grimy.
ride mean? What does ride mean?
Grimy?
Ride.
Ride? Is that what
Yeah,
you said?
like I'm gonna ride for my company, and like, if you know,
yeah, like ride and die.
You're speaking an urban language to Dr. Green. He does not understand. It
you
doesn't
gotta
compute.
watch Bad Boys.
Exactly. Ride or die.
Well,
That
look,
movie is fire, though. Go
I
ahead.
got a comment to both of y'all, but I want the Big Llama to give his thoughts on his opinion for the evaluation.
Well, first of all, yeah, I think I have the same reaction. This face goes from smiling to a scowl, right? Like what the fuck? Like, really? Like, seriously? But you're gonna have to prove it. But the loyalty thing, kind of like, man, that triggered me. I was like, ooh, like
Sorry.
the first one hit me
Sorry.
hard, because I'm like, I'm not a team player. Like, nah, I'm gonna show you. And then you said loyalty. I said, no, that's not happening tonight. But no, I again, this is where this is my, it could be yours as well, but this is just my thought process on, and I've learned this over my 25 plus years of doing these types of things, is that the loyalty is one loyalty is earned. Like, you give me respect and loyalty, or you show me that you're taking care of me, I take care of you. That's one thing that goes without saying. But I've also discovered in after 20 plus years of being at one particular location and then being shown the door within a minute, is there's no loyalty there. There's not a loyalty. It's numbers. It's data, it's numbers, it's I'm a number. I became a number and I became expendable. So what that taught me is that the loyalty isn't to the company, and loyalty is some, you guys mentioned, it's to the family, it's to the people who you provide, that you support. You're going to want to do the right thing. This is why I'm saying this. So as an HR professional, you're going to want to do the right thing. Number one, because it is, I think, your obligation to do so if you're going to be in HR. Always looking out for the right thing. Always, understanding how you keep people out of liability. But at the end of the day, my loyalty is to my family. And so I'm going to do everything I can to do the right things so that they can continue to be supported by me. But don't question that shit, because like that. And again, I'll be honest, if I've reached that point where I'm burnt out with that company, or I'm kind of like, okay, I've seen enough. It's not a loyalty thing anymore. It's just now I'm going to play whatever game you're playing, and I'll go along with whatever you're doing to continue to move. But I'll be looking for somewhere else to be, at that point. But I man, you guys, man, hit me hard. I was like, damn, loyalty? No, that's not going to happen. Because
I have something that y'all could use as a defense mechanism that I think we all love to use, whether it's being told that you're not loyal or being told that you're not a team player in an evaluation. Hopefully they give specific examples, and if they're legit, they're legit. But most of the time that I've seen, they're not, and they can't provide the specifics. But it would be great to turn that conversation around and say, well, one, if you noticed that during the time of that project, why did you not mention it to me then? If we're talking about being a team player, why were you not my team player at that time? Or if we're talking about loyalty, why were you not loyal to me to let me know that that is what I was doing during that time? Why are you waiting now until a quarter later or an annual evaluation a year later to give me this feedback? How is that loyal? How is that a team player? Like I would throw it back on them. Like you're telling me I'm not loyal or I'm not a team player. Well, let's reverse the roles a little bit because you're giving me information that you should have gave me 3, 6, 9 months ago. And I'm just now getting it. How is that fair to me?
Who do you think the responsibility falls on? And maybe I'm asking the wrong question, but I'm thinking back to when we talked about creating psychological safety. And my whole like entrance to digging into psychological safety and what that meant was I heard on a webinar or a seminar that I attended that it's up to the leader to create a psychological safe place for employees to ask for feedback. So who do we think that responsibility falls on? Does it fall on the leader to ask for feedback or to give feedback? Or is it a part of us as employees to request real-time feedback, right? Like, I'm not a fan of annual reviews. Are you going to tell me a year from now what I could have done better? Tell me real time. And I get it, right? Unless you're not like, you hear it, no feedback is good feedback. I think that's bull crap.
So
you have to tell me real time. So like, who does the responsibility fall on?
I think theoretically, it falls on the manager. But let's be realistic. We have a lot of people sitting in managerial seats, supervisory seats that should not be there. They do not have the skills. They do not have the talent. They do not have the knowledge. They were in the right place at the right time, or they were an impulse hire, or they knew somebody, whatever the reason was. I think if we're looking at it theoretically, it's the manager. But if we're looking at it realistically, the employee, you need to ask for feedback, because I get employees that come to me all the time and they're not happy with their evaluation. And they're like, well, they never told me this. And I'm like, well, I'll have that conversation with them. I'll deal with that. But I want to talk with you about what you could do better in this situation. How often do you ask for feedback? How often do you ask your boss whether or not you're succeeding or not succeeding at work? You give me 3 things I could be doing better and 3 things I'm doing well. Well, never. I'm like, okay, so while technically it's all on your boss, and I once again, as HR, I will take care of that. You have some skin in the game here. So while you may not be, but about 5% responsible for this situation, you still have ownership, as you could have asked for feedback. And if they would not have given it to you, then it would have been completely their fault. So that's my response.
Good point.
Let's go a step further. What about the overly, and y'all know, if y'all worked with me, so y'all know that I say like, it's because I'm awesome, or something ridiculous because that's my goofy personality. But we've all ranged that one person who truly thinks they are, like, in the Southern terms, the bee's knees, they cut the mustard, they are the top dog. Like,
they think they're Chad GPT.
That's right. They're Chad GPT. But they think they live and breathe awesomeness, that they are the number one and cannot be wrong. And so you hear things like, I didn't ghost that project. I spiritually disconnected from it.
Get the hell out of here with your shit.
I'm dead serious. And so, but like, you've met those people, and then like they don't even take feedback in any type of way, because they say I'm used to being the best, so I don't take feedback well.
I have to question.
Have you ever rated some of those people?
You have to question the way that your parents raised you.
Honestly, I don't think it has to do with how your parents raised you. I think it's who your friends were growing up.
I did hang out with people like Jason.
I mean, that's a complicated question, because Dr. Green, the response really depends on the company you work for, the leader that you're in front of, the situation you're in. Because on one hand, you could say hey boss, I want to just give you my opinion. It may not be true, but it's what I'm seeing. On the other hand, you could go and have that conversation with their leadership, because that's who's truly responsible for providing that feedback to them. And obviously they were a part of the problem in not calling this person out for their opportunities and development. But then again, with both of those being said, depending on the circumstances, both can come back to bite you in the butt. We all know how politics works in the workplace. And we're not going to pretend like it doesn't, because we all know you give me enough time, you give me 30, 60, 90 days, I can legally find a reason to fire anybody. Doesn't mean it's ethical. And in some cases, it doesn't mean it's legal. But if leadership truly wanted to, they can find a reason to fire you. And that's the scary part. And that's why HR is there, is to try to prevent those individuals from getting those seats that they shouldn't have.
I think overinflated egos. I think people who maybe have lost touch, and I don't mean with like reality, lost touch in what the real purpose of what they're doing is. We sometimes get lost in that. And yes, there's been a time or two where I've gotten lost in my own reality but there's also times where I feel like I have imposter syndrome. And if you don't know what imposter syndrome is, it feels like, you're in this position or you're in this place that you're like, I can't believe it. And then you don't believe that you're doing a good job in that position, but you truly are. And you second guess and question all the things that you do. And I'll give an example. When I was an HR business partner manager, it's exactly what I did. I questioned everything I did, but I pushed every day to try to be the best and do the best, while I had people back here saying, Chad, you're doing a great job. And I'm sitting here going, am I really doing a good job? So I find myself to where I give myself this fake, Chad, I give myself a pep talk, I guess you would say. And I would say, yeah, I am doing a good job. Because I guess if I say it enough, then I'll believe it.
Mhm.
But
you
I
believe
also,
it, you can achieve it.
oh, God. This is not middle school. You see that? The more you know.
Right. So what's the opposite of imposter syndrome? Like, is that like that I know I'm the greatest? Because I got that. No,
And
all right, hold on.
imposter syndrome
that.
and I think it's the same as cocky and confidence. Imposter syndrome.
Okay, so in my mind, in this is, I think I've said this once, maybe episode 2 or 3, I don't know. Go back in the archives, people. I feel in my mind, again, just out of my experience, my time, I don't think I'm the subject matter expert, but I always feel like I belong in any room that I stand in. I walk into a room, I don't care if you make 2.5 million a year and you're the CHRO of whatever. I belong there with you, and I can probably either, my knowledge base is way better than yours. It's just a competitive nature in me from, growing up but any room that I go now, the exterior is that of humbleness, right? And just kind of like, yes. But any room that I'm in, I feel like I belong in it. And I don't know. I want people to have that, because and I didn't have it a lot. Like, don't get me wrong. I've always felt I can hang, but like, it wasn't until later on that I kind of just felt, it was like Beyonce says, I'm feeling myself, right? I honestly feel like I belong in any room, and I will be there. I don't give a shit anymore. Like you put me up there. I'll do a presentation tomorrow. What's the topic? Who gives a shit? I'm going to go up there and knock it out. Like, that's my mindset everywhere I go. But again, there is a level of, maybe I don't know something, right? I will research it. But once I know that shit, it's mine. So I don't know. You said imposter syndrome. I think I had that for a long time. Now I don't.
Well, but imposter syndrome is where you think your shit doesn't stink, but it does, and your skills don't match like your perception. There is actually something called the Dunning-Kruger effect,
Oh,
which
yes.
which is presented as a polar opposite of imposter syndrome. That's where you think you're the bee's knees, but you're not. You're
But you're
really
not.
not.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody actually said that to me in a reaction video.
That you're the bee's knees and you're actually
That you're
No,
the
that
bee's knees.
oh,
no, the Dunning,
the
the Dunning Kruger.
Dunning-Kruger?
Yeah, they're like,
oh,
look at this guy, Dunning Kruger. I'm like, what does that mean?
Rude, you give me their name right now.
and we're gonna come after him.
You give me
But-
their name right now. I'll come after them.
For you, Big Llama, I like the way you presented that because you came in with I can walk into any room and basically I belong.
Yes.
That is different because you have a growth mindset. You have a different type of mindset and a different perception. There's perception, there's reality. With perception, it's how you can view something differently, or I can look that this is a can of Monster. It's going to give me energy. Somebody else could look at this as a heart attack in a can. Different perceptions.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
if
no.
you didn't know, I was holding up a Monster energy
It
can.
is.
Just for the...
We're gonna go with the first one, and then we're gonna ask for some reimbursements from Munster for some advertising.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry. But the insights that you had and the things that you went through to get where you were, to where you could walk into that room. I'll tell you, when I was the HR business partner manager, I felt it every single day. But once my reality was starting to become real, like it was true, hence the word reality, I started taking on this different perception, this different understanding that, okay, what I am doing is right. What I'm doing is good. And so I started personifying that so that I could be a better example for all the other HR business partners who maybe struggled or needed help or were like Nemos and Dories in the world. And so you get what I mean.
Yes.
Well, it is very realistic though, because I will say this. I try to start my mornings off with a lot of inspiration and manifestation and gratitude and all that good stuff, right? And so some of the affirmations that I have started to tell myself are things like, I belong in the rooms that I walk into. I belong at that table. I have earned my seat here. I have earned this. I have, like, those are some of the things that I like, some of the affirmations that I tell myself in the mornings. But it is a very realistic mindset, and it takes a lot to get to a mindset where you're like, no, I fucking earned this shit. I'm sitting right here.
Ooh,
You know what's funny? I follow someone on TikTok. She's an ex-Secret Service agent.
Oh,
I love
some weird people.
you know what? But everyone I follow has great information. I was watching a video of hers today. I'll have to find her so we can tag her on our show to give her cred. But she talked about they were doing a study on elected officials, and they're trying to identify characteristic traits that were common between all of the officials that were elected. And they found one trait between every single official, which is when they spoke, they commanded the room. They spoke with confidence. They had confidence both in their body language, in their words, in their tone. And honestly, when you think about it, because we've all asked ourselves this question, which is, how did that person get in that seat? And if you think about it, while it doesn't apply to all situations, at least 60% or more, they were very confident and great bullshitters.
Big Llama, you got any comments on that one?
No, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, there's a level of bullshit that must be spun to maintain to maintain the ability to be in that room. Like, you got to think on your feet. Like, when somebody gives you like a phrase or a term or something, you got to put that shit together, some context clues, right? Like, okay, this guy just said this really crazy acronym for a spreadsheet, right? But I can't figure out what it is. So you just got to be like, yeah, no, look, listen, your sales report. I'm telling you. Tell me again about, like, what quarter was that? Like, you just have to, like, continue to just be okay with again. That's how I get through it sometimes. Like, if I don't know it, I'm gonna learn that shit and I'll figure it out. I'll Google it. I'll ask a couple questions. But
I love flipping it. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. I want to hear more of your thoughts about it. Tell me more.
Exactly. You said those projections were high. What do you mean by that? What does that mean?
I want to make sure
You're
we're
gonna
aligned on. Yeah, like I love the fact that you think they were high. I want to see if we're both on the same page. Give me some more. Give me some more descriptions. Give me some more
y'all
thought.
are both jerks.
Hey, I will tell you. I think that is a talent, and for anyone listening, if you
Yes.
want to move up into leadership, if you want a senior management role, if you want to get into directors and VPs and above role, you've got to be good at the politics. Even if you don't agree with it
Yes.
sometimes, you have to be good at speaking and holding conversations and being able to read the room and read people's body languages. If you can't walk into a room and read the room, you will not go very far in life. And while we all are human and we make mistakes, you got to make sure you don't do those on first impressions because those last for a lifetime. But no, when it comes to, and I want to tie this back to being a team player, everything we've talked about, why it may have sounded like we've kind of gone off the trail a little bit, all ties back into being team players. Whether we're talking about the narcissist manager, whether we're talking about the narcissist employee on the team, or whether or not we're talking about those who don't fall in those categories but have been involved in that terminology, they all tie into it because the word team player is so universal and applies to so many aspects of life, whether it's family or business or pleasure. Being a team player, that term is so loosely used that we forget how true it can be and the skill sets you need to kind of fall into actually being good at it.
Great points. Great.
And also think about while you're being a good bullshitter or even a good leader and all sorts of things that we were talking about a while ago, like what needs to be spun. I think the biggest thing as a person who can do all these things is they can see the bigger picture. They're not narrow visioned.
Mm-hmm.
And probably about 10 years ago, I was told, Dr. Green, not at that time, it was Chad, but you need to stop thinking so tunnel-minded, so narrowly. You have to think about what could happen if I did this and what would it cause over here? And then think about the implications because you may not like what your boss is telling you at that moment that is like, we really shouldn't do that. And it's not that the boss needs to learn the lesson. That's what I usually think is the boss needs to learn the lesson. But it also means that you need to give a little here to take a little here. And so that whenever you gave this over here, when it comes to the bigger picture and something happens, you can take what you need. I think that as a leader, we need to have those things, especially in HR, so that we can see what the ultimate goal is. So whether it's a performance review where you have to say something differently than saying you're not loyal, I don't feel like you're committed as much to the organization, something like that. Saying you're disloyal or you're not loyal is just a bad way of saying something. You could say it differently and put it a little bit more.
It's a cop-out.
It's a cop-out. Thank you. It's a cop-out. You could be gentle with it and still say, hey, I just feel like you're not as committed as you were 6 months ago when we had our semi-annual review, whatever that is.
Semi-annual bra sale. That's where my brain went when you said semi-annual. Exactly.
Could have
All right,
gone to
so
semi-annual Bath and Body Works. No.
right.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's always good.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go around the horn. Let's wrap things up tonight, because we have small bladders. No.
I actually found something really cool. When you guys were talking about where leaders focus their attention. So there's 3 team players that leaders usually focus their attention on.
Okay.
The difficult people, These are people that are always unhappy, or they're difficult, they cause problems. A lot of the time, your leaders will spend time trying to limit the impact that employee has on others, right? Like the bad apple, you're trying to keep it off the tree. They'll focus their attention on the learners. These are people who you often have to work with to develop their skills. Maybe they're not as proficient in Excel, and you have to spend a little more time with them, right? Then you have the high achievers. These are your go-to people, right? These are the ones that your leaders trust the most. They spend a lot of time with them, giving them special projects and tasks that are probably not as important as what keeps our business going, right? So those are the top 3 people they spend time with. And then in this article, it also talks about those underrated team members who you should be showing appreciation for. You've got the showing the appreciation for the social organizer, right? Your social organizer is usually like your admin. These are your people that put all the fun stuff together, all of the birthday events, all of the I don't know, pajama days,
Barbecues.
the barbecues. They make your workplace fun, right? And without them, it would be kind of boring. Think about it. If you didn't have, like, I don't know, an engagement person or like a fun committee type of deal. Yeah, work would be, who's going to plan the pizza party? The HR person? I don't have time for that.
No. It'd be the most boring pizza party ever if the HR plans.
Yeah, if Llama plans it, we're all getting Little Caesars.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm economical and efficient.
He might even do Little Caesars. He might do the oven baked ones. Everyone has to bake the pizza and bring it.
Listen, Totino's boxes for everyone. Take that shit home and make it at home.
I would
That's my
not
party.
be mad at that.
No, Totino's is delicious.
It is delicious. He'd buy hot dogs from Sam's.
We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored, Totino's. Send the
Look,
check.
But if you want to.
That was the thing that you ate, at least in my house, when you were like 15 years old. You threw that sucker in the microwave and you just took it out and you ate it. No Christmas, nobody cared. We were just young and dumb and we ate those.
Oh no, I had some respect for myself. I put that bitch in the oven.
I'm gonna say I still eat. Am I the only one that still eats them?
No,
I still eat them too.
I still eat them, just rare. I don't have time to put it in the oven. I don't have time to put it in the oven anymore, like some of us do, because we don't have imposter syndrome.
No, I have a double oven, and my bottom one is a what do you call those things? Those convection oven things that cook super fast. So
air fryers work, Dr. Green.
Yes.
Come on, PhD.
Hey.
Hey.
So do pizza rolls.
That's true.
Pizza rolls work good too, with that new garlic ranch from Hidden Valley.
All right, we are listen.
Another plug.
Another plug. Okay,
if
anyone's gonna plug, it's me. Guys, go to the merch store. Links are in the description. Go buy your Just for Friends trying to figure out HR podcast shirts, hoodies, and then if you want to show your love for any one of these lovely individuals, you buy the shirt, the I Love HR shirt that has their name, so that we can see who actually loves them the most. So
I feel slighted in so many ways here.
Well, we're gonna slide it to Mama Mel.
Slide,
Exactly.
not slighted. Slighted, not slide dead.
Well, we're gonna slide select it over to Mama Mel.
Right. So parting shot, Mama Mel, what do you got for us to close out the show?
Give credit where credit is due. There is nothing wrong. I prefer to work in a team, right? I've for the majority of my career, I've worked by myself in my office, just me and my lonesome self. So whenever I get a chance to work in a team, I get real excited. But give credit where credit is due. I think the 4 of us at some point have worked on something together. And I hope that I've always made it a point to say, this person put this together. I know, Lama, you and I got a little bit of more chance to work on things together. And I made sure to say, like, this was all him. I just sat there and listened to him bounce ideas off of, the wall. And I just,
The wall. You talked to the wall, huh?
I said,
I do.
that sounds great. Yes, put that in paper. But give credit where credit is due. Don't be that asshole, because we all hate them. Also, allow others to speak and allow others' opinions to be heard and voiced, and just be a kind human being. I'm always going to leave you with that.
I like that. Dr. Green, what you got?
Oh, what can I say that Mama Mel didn't say? She's becoming a true parent here. Look.
She did the. Oh my god. Yes.
I did. I pulled. Is that from Superstar? Or is that from Napoleon Dynamite?
Napoleon Dynamite. Vote for Pedro. I think, number one, it goes back to being a good human being. You have colleagues for a reason. And it has been proven in so many studies that it is better for you as a human being, and it's for your mental health and all sorts of things, to have trauma bonding. I'm joking about the trauma part, but that is a real thing.
Is that not what we do?
That is
every week
exactly
here?
what we do.
So we do a weekly basis here.
That's exactly what it is. But your people that you work with, like you work with them every day, that bond is going to help you get through the workday and everything like that. So get to know the people that are around you, but also HR is the hardest thing to be in because you can't truly be that. So I say be a good human being, but also remember that being a team player doesn't just mean throwing that pizza party for when everybody does a good job. It's being that constant, source of information, help, guidance, and authenticity and empathy. You have to give those two things. Those are the most important. Because if you don't, people aren't going to come to you. So be authentic and be empathetic.
All right. Well, Jake is going to close us out and tell us goodbye. But last thing I will say is about being a team player is, again, just be upfront and honest about things. Make sure you give, again, we've said it, give credit where credit is due. Don't ever be a jerk about it. If somebody did something, give them that credit. And then if there's somebody who you can help, that's also being a team player. Help them. If there's a presentation they're having, or like I said, like Excel or whatever that you're really good at, teach them and show them the skills. Don't hoard information. Don't hoard those skills. Make your teams better around you. And that's actually a great way to be a team player is sharing the knowledge that you have, share the experiences that you have, and leave the egos and check that shit at the door. Let's make it better for the team as a whole so that we can prosper together as a group, and then we can all shine versus just you shining on your own. All right, Jake, take us home. What's your parting shot and wrap us up?
Honestly, I'm not going to give very much specifics. I think y'all hit a lot of the good facts. What I will say for those, while we talked about a lot today and took many tangents on different paths, there's still so much out there. So if you've not gone online and researched to start looking at the reality of the world and the skills that are available for you to learn online, do it, and do it soon. Whether you're in HR or you're not in HR, it's irrelevant. You need to know it. And that's my parting gift. So I say this with much love until we call you into the office again. Stay off the naughty list. Be a team player.
Well, that's another episode of the Four Friends Trying to Figure Out HR. We didn't solve anything, but hey, at least we tried.
And by tried, we mean we laughed, we overshared, and we probably violated some HR guidelines ourselves.
But remember, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Don't take our advice. Seriously, don't.
And if your HR manager asks, you've never heard of us or this podcast.